It's just a day for technical difficulties today. The power, I'm working on this video. The power goes out. I lose everything. It's like, okay. All right. Well, thank God it came back on because I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to find something else to do. The power's out. I don't know. But so the power comes back on. I get started, and then I start to record again, and I realize my microphone's not working. So I'm sitting here yapping, and nothing's happening. Right? Probably that's the best thing to do. Right? Is upload the video where nobody can hear my mouth just a running. So I was like, I had to stop it, go back, and start again. So this is third time's a charm, right? Third time's a charm. All right, this is a Senate Republicans hold press briefing about Arctic frost probe. GOP senators reveal findings in Arctic frost probe. It should shock all Americans, and I think it should. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't interesting and there's something to this. We all know what the Biden administration did to Donald Trump. What was it, 80-some indictments? It was insane. They went after him with a vengeance. And you don't think that they didn't use their DOJ? They didn't use their lawfare? They didn't use their lawfare or their influence to influence YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to stifle speech, shut down people's platforms? You couldn't talk about COVID? You couldn't say nothing. Boom, shut them down, shut them down. You couldn't talk nothing. And putting speech in our mouth. And they are supposed to be the party of freedom of speech and being compassionate and being, what do they love to say? Transparency. They love to say that. We're just transparent about everything. Well, you weren't transparent about that. You accused Donald Trump. You accused the Republicans of stifling free speech, interfering on people's rights, that they're in the country illegally, but they have a right to be in the country illegally. It's like everything is ass backwards with them. It's unbelievable. Ass backwards. But it was them. It was them that stifled free speech. People's YouTube channels were gone. Twitter channels shut down. You were permabanned. It was insane. It was insane. And as soon as Trump, gets the second nomination, they're going to talk about it somewhere around in there. They went after him, and then they went after sitting senators by trying to get their phone records. By what? So they went to a judge to get a court order, to get a warrant, to get these phone records. But why? What would be the reason? I'm not a lawyer, a cop, a judge, none of that. Just an average person. But I'm thinking, you go get a warrant, don't you have to have a reason to get a warrant? So all of these senators, there was a reason for this particular judge to write a warrant to get their phone records? It's insane, right? It's insane. Arctic frost. We should all be like, and remember the parents? The parents during the Biden administration that went to these school board meetings that we saw playing out where they're complaining about these nasty, disgusting books that are in the schools, teaching kids how two men do things. So remember, everybody remember the father that stood up and started reading from the book, and they're like, "Whoa, you can't read that. You can." He's like, "Why? My son brought it from the library at school." A lot of those people were removed by the police officers in the school board meeting, and most likely a lot of them were maybe their phones were tapped, their backgrounds were checked. Right? They're going to suggest that. How it wouldn't be surprised. You're an enemy of the state. And we could never forget. Never forget what the Biden and Harris administration did. And they always say that, oh, Trump and them are infringing on everybody's rights and free speech. Shit, they were doing it. They did it. YouTube printed out a response and said, yeah, we were asked to do this by Biden administration. Zuckerberg did the same thing. He went on Joe Rogan and said it. Facebook, Twitter was doing it. Thank God Elon Musk bought it. And it fired them all. Fired them all. If somebody said something they didn't like, they'd ban you or block you on Twitter. So it was all just one-sided. Like all the information. Now, everybody's on there. Left and right. Now, don't be mad at Elon Musk. He didn't get rid of those dumbasses. Which we all probably wish to get rid of the trolls, right? The evil trolls, not the funny trolls. Trump's the best troll. Totally trolling. But you know what I mean? So now there's both sides on there. Before it was just all trying to gear one side and to fit the administration's agenda. We can never forget this, and we need to keep bringing it up. And I think the Republicans need to be doing a better job of hammering this home. Hammer this home every time they get up to go to any kind of election or what they did. And now this Arctic frost crap is coming out too on top of all that. We all know the Russia gate was a hoax. Biden pardons his son for a lifetime of shit he did. We got the auto pen scandal. I mean, it's just shit after shit, right? That involves Hillary Clinton and Obama. Because Obama signed off on a lot of stuff. Going after Trump with the Russia gate, so, and all this other stuff. So that's going to be real interesting. But before we get into that, we're not going to read this article, but it's just a quick snippet. It's just a quick snippet. I saw this earlier, and I thought about doing a video on it, but I was like, But it's Dictionary.com's word of the year is 67. And literally, people are losing their minds over it, like a man being named a woman of the year, which is retarded. So, my son's in high school. So, I email him, because that's how we communicate during the day. And I email him, and I said, now, I read a little bit of this article. No, let me bring this 67 is something young people are saying, okay? So why the hell does it have to be word of the year? But anyway, I'm like, what the hell is this? Some of the article was like saying, nobody knows what it means. Nobody knows. I was like, well, hey, us old folks, maybe we had some sayings back in the day, but the kids, every generation has their thing, right? So 67 is a thing that young kids are saying, and like, well, what does it mean? So I messaged him and I said, do you know what 67 means? So he messages me back. He says, yeah, I do. It's from a dumb song. He says 67 in the song, and it got famous, right? But he still didn't tell me what it meant. He just said it was in a dumb... Now, that's exactly what he wrote. He said, it's from a dumb song. That's my boy right there. Yeah. He knows good... Well, he likes Bon Jovi, all right? I said it. He's like, why don't you ever want to hear Bon Jovi? I said, because I just don't. I just don't. I think they had one song I liked when they very first came out. Oh, she's a little runaway. But then they got so commercialized. And at the time I was younger and I was more metal, Queensryche, and other types of metal music. Like awesome guitar players, Yngwie Malmsteen, things like that. So my interest was more technical. And they just weren't technical. They were commercial, and that's why it wasn't appealing to me. But I know why he likes Bon Jovi, and obviously millions of people did. They had some pop. I called it pop rock, is what I called it. I didn't never think Bon Jovi was metal. So I messaged him back. I said, well, you didn't tell me what it meant. What does it mean? He says, I really don't know. It's also from a famous basketball player's height. And a kid on TikTok said it, and it grew more viral, it really has no meaning. So I don't know. I don't know if he can be the spokesman for everyone about why the young people are saying 67. He's saying, one, it comes from a dumb song that says 67 in it, and two, that it's some kids referring to the height of a famous basketball player. So there you go. I don't know. There it is. That's your take. Now, I will put this link in the description, and you can go read this goofy article, which just has nothing to do with this press conference. But I thought I'd just add that in there, just for fun. Just for fun. Now, let me see. All my levels are good. I did speed this up a bit, and you will understand why. Here we go. Let's go. He's going to start talking in a second.
Good afternoon, everybody.
There we go.
A little bit of history before I get to what we're releasing today. I started the investigation into Arctic frost July 2022 based on whistleblower disclosures. Based on these disclosures, we know that weaponized taxpayer-funded agents and prosecutors advanced the investigation. As Arctic frost advanced, 92 Republican organizations or individuals were targeted, not just Trump.
What in the world? Stupid commercials. I am so sorry. I do not have a premium. Just have to bear with me. I wish I could. Wish I could.
Water repellency.
But I can't.
And they were added to its scope. And author of that targeting list was Special Agent Walter Giardino. He's the same weaponized agent who was involved in other cases against Republicans, including Peter Navarro. We've learned Jack Smith secretly obtained phone record data from at least 8 senators and 1 congressman. I've recently been informed by Verizon that at least 11 members with Verizon accounts were affected. That includes a hard line for Senator Cruz's office and a staffer's cell phone for former Senator Loeffler. AT&T informed me they challenged the legal basis for Jack Smith's efforts, and Smith backed down. So today, we're making public new records that I've obtained through legally protected whistleblower disclosures. 197 subpoenas were issued by Jack Smith and his team. These subpoenas were issued to 34 individuals and 163 businesses, including financial institutions. And one of the points of contact on many of these subpoenas was that person I previously named, Special Agent Walter Giardino. The subpoena requested records and communications related to over 430 individual and organizations. All of them appear to be aimed at Republicans. A subpoena to Event Strategies requested records relating to Turning Point USA and the Republican Attorney General's Association. One subpoena to Apple sought records relating to Trump and the January 6th prison choir. Earlier this year, I obtained emails between and among J.P. Cooney, one of Jack Smith's prosecutors. That email exchange was March 2023 about a partisan news article on January 6th, and this is what Cooney said in the email. Can we do some work to nail down Trump's role in this, perhaps with the same process on Ed Henry's LLC, end quote. Just the next month, April 2023, Jack Smith and his team subpoenaed Apple for records relating to the very issue. A subpoena to an individual sought records and communications with, quote, any member, employee, or agent of the legislative branch of government, end quote. Another subpoena to an individual sought records relating to communications with media companies such as CBS, Fox News, Fox Business, Newsmax, Sinclair, and others. Other subpoenas to a bank, individual, and businesses sought records relating to White House advisors Stephen Miller, Dan Scavino, Jared Kushner, and Lara Trump. Some subpoenas to individuals and businesses sought statistical data and analysis relating to donors and fundraising efforts. Arctic Frost was the vehicle by which FBI agents and DOJ prosecutors could improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. Contrary to what Smith has said publicly, this was clearly a fishing expedition. If this had happened to Democrats,
oh, Lord,
they'd be as rightly outraged as we are outraged.
You'd never hear the end of it.
We're making these records public in the interest of transparency and so that the American people can draw their own conclusions. Senator Johnson.
Damn. It wasn't just the senators. It's like he's saying there's over 100 of them that they just went after in the lawfare. It's insane. It's insane. Businesses, Turning Point USA, investigating Turning Point USA? Seriously?
Don't just buy crypto.
What is happening?
E&E Group let you.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley. I want to thank the chairman. I want to thank his staff for their tenacity and their cooperation in all of our joint investigations. I think it's important to note that the records that we are now making public in purpose of transparency were not obtained from the agency. They were obtained through a whistleblower. So my first point is we need more whistleblowers. We need people, men and women inside these agencies who have integrity, who want to see the integrity and credibility of the Department of Justice, of the FBI restored, come forward. Because right now I think Cash, Patel, Pam, Bondi are overwhelmed by all the messes they're trying to clean up.
That is true. And I think Patel already has fired, if not all, of a lot of those people that were in the FBI. They've been cleaning house. And man, they've been cleaning up a mess. Yeah, guys, could you imagine? Now, I know there's some trolls out there that have been on my page on the Pam Bundy, the 4K hit on her, and it's just been some weird comments on there. I'm just like, whatever. I just wrote on there the trolls are trolling. But the crap they're having to clean up is mind-boggling. Getting the border shut down. Closing off. Stop the bleeding. Now they have to go in and clean these places up. Why are the cities in America look like a third world country? Trump's like, this can't keep happening. People getting killed every weekend in these cities. But they tell them that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to see here. They're infested. They're infested with illegals. Plus, they had their own crime before the illegals showed up. It's been a disaster of a mess for them to clean up. You have to have respect. Respect what they're trying to do. And it's insane. It's an insane task.
The agencies have been, lost a lot of personnel. People simply couldn't serve the Trump administration. It's hard to hire people because of all the lawfare. And there's still partisan actors burrowed in trying to sabotage their efforts.
Ooh.
So we need whistleblowers. The reason they come forward to Chairman Grassley is because he's been such a champion of whistleblowers. So again, I thank him for that. What is revealed in those 1,700 pages of documents, in those 197 subpoenas, is nothing short of a Biden administration enemies list. I'm old enough to understand how toxic a term that was under Richard Nixon. This is far worse, orders of magnitude worse. People need to understand how politicized the Biden administration turned all these agencies. And again, the best way to describe President Biden's attitude were his exact quotes. He thought basically half America were domestic terrorists. In September 2022, in front of Independence Hall, he said, Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundation of our republic.
That made it all right for him to do 197 subpoenas. Get some rogue judge to sign off warrants to get phone records from these senators and then these other people and from Turning Point. because half the country are deplorables, is what Crooked Hillary said.
In New York City, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Now, nothing could be further from the truth. That is a level of paranoia that's actually astonishing. But the fact that 38 Wisconsinites are on that enemies list, I know most of those individuals. They are God-fearing, country-loving, law enforcement supporting people who want to see America succeed. The fact that they are on a Biden administration enemies list, were targeted by that administration, is outrageous. It should shock every American. And so I am calling on, and I appreciate all the members of the Judiciary Committee, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to do everything we can to assist Director Patel and AG Bondi in making sure that they have the staff to take control of these agencies. They're the heads of them. I don't think they have the control. I think they're being sabotaged within.
Damn.
The American people need to understand exactly what happened.
Damn.
And again, I'm calling on members of the Judiciary Committee to help Senator Grassley and myself get to the bottom of this so we can expose this, so this doesn't happen again in America. This has to end. With that, I'll turn it over to Senator Cornyn.
Well, that's crazy. So you're head of a department, you don't know who to trust? Bundy's in the DOJ. Pastel, head of FBI. I know they've been cleaning house. Oh, and the Dems are pissed about that too, by the way. I'm sure y'all been hearing about it. They are upset. Now, they don't have a right to fire me. There was one woman who got fired, and she's all like, nah, I'm going to court. You can't fire me. This particular judge held it up, said, yes, he can. He's the president of the United States. He says you got to go. You need to go. Period. He's the president. He should be able to have anybody work under him who he chooses, right? Certainly the Biden administration did the same. They surrounded themselves with some crooks.
I want to thank Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson for their perseverance in this investigation. This is the United States of America. It's not a banana republic. It's not a country that condones partisan lawfare against your political opponents. We don't have the time to go through all of the many ways that the Democratic Party and President Trump's opponents tried to target him.
I think that the Biden administration took a playbook out of these other banana republics and said, damn, look what they did. They overthrow everything. Let's do that. Let's just hit him with lawsuits and maybe he'll quit. We'll make him bankrupt. We'll go after these senators, but hey, we'll dig for something and we'll find something. We're going to find something. If we dig hard enough. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do what these banana republics did. Let's go. That's what they did.
And tried to destroy him, including people like James Comey, who single-handedly wanted to get a special counsel appointed, where a 2-year investigation followed with no result, no evidence of any legal violation. But I can't think of any greater evidence of weaponization in the fact, as you heard from Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson, this extended far beyond President Trump and extended to President Trump's supporters, not only here in the United States Senate, but more broadly. Jack Smith did not act alone. Yes, he was a special counsel. He was appointed by Merrick Garland, and he had responsibilities to report to Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, Joe Biden's Attorney General, under the rules regarding special counsel. Merrick Garland was a member of Joe Biden's cabinet. He was willing to do whatever Joe Biden and his political operation wanted him to do, including destroying President Trump, including abusing our justice system for partisan purposes. And here, to me, is the most troublesome part of all this. If they would do that to the President of the United States, if they would do this to United States senators and members of Congress, what would they do to you?
Join ICE with bonuses up.
Doo-doo. Join ICE, y'all. Look at that. They need people. I think they already had been going after private citizens.
People who don't enjoy the bully pulpit or the platform that elected representatives have. This ought to be a chilling message to each and every American who loves this great country and believes in our constitutional system and equal justice under the law. Thank goodness for Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson for their investigation, but we will get to the bottom of this. Senator.
I mean, look, if they're ever in power again, God forbid, we can never let the Dems or the libtards, and plus they're going far left now. Their party is just like, boom, they've just gone so far left. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They've doubled down. They're staying far left. They know what to do. They're going to know what to do if they get in again. They're going to do what they did. They're going to weaponize the DOJ. They're going to go lawfare. They're going to be a banana republic. They're going to do all of this stuff. Put socialism programs. They're going to do it all. They're going to do it all because we saw what they did during the Biden administration. And maybe, and this is saying something, maybe that was Disneyland compared to what the next group of Democrat lefts, because I think they're going to have to rename their party. I don't know. But they're going to be so far left. The damage they can inflict on this country would make what Biden did look like Disneyland.
Cruz.
Arctic frost is Joe Biden's Watergate. Merrick Garland was a fundamentally corrupt attorney general. Jack Smith was a fundamentally corrupt prosecutor.
Yeah.
This was a political enemies list from the beginning. 197 subpoenas for 430 Republican entities and individuals.
400.
That is an absolute and egregious abuse of power.
No kidding.
The Biden Justice Department signed off on issuing subpoenas for the phone records of at least 9 U.S. senators. 20% of the Republicans in the United States Senate were the target of this fishing expedition. They did so in complete contravention of the Constitution, of separation of powers, of the speech and debate clause, of free speech, of basic rights of privacy. This is an executive who believes it is justified spying on their opponents in the legislature because they convince themselves the ends justify the means. I want to talk to you about one of those subpoenas. One of those subpoenas went from Jack Smith to AT&T, seeking my cell phone communications.
No shit.
It went to AT&T, and I actually want to commend AT&T for doing the right thing. AT&T is based in Texas. AT&T looked at that subpoena, and they went to their legal counsel. And they said, what should we do with that subpoena? And their legal counsel said, you cannot comply because this is protected by the speech and debate clause of the U.S. Constitution. And so AT&T declined to comply, did not hand over my cell phone records. Now, one might ask, ordinarily, a phone company being asked to hand over the phone records of a sitting senator would notify that senator. Well, there was a reason AT&T did not do so. Accompanying the subpoena was an order, which I have in my hand right here, an order that was signed by Judge James E. Boasberg. Now, who is Boasberg? Boasberg is that radical leftist judge who is out of control.
Oh, shit.
Who has been issuing nationwide injunctions, one after the other, trying to stop President Trump from carrying out his mandate from the voters.
Impeach him.
Judge Boasberg issued an order to AT&T and signed that order, prohibiting AT&T from informing me of this subpoena for at least 1 year. And Judge Boasberg gave the basis for that order, and I'm going to quote from the order Judge Boasberg signed. The court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in destruction of or tampering with evidence, intimidation of potential witnesses, and serious jeopardy to the investigation.
Now, wait a second. This is what I was trying. What evidence could he destroy? What was the basis for the warrant to get his phone records? What crime do they think that Ted Cruz committed? I have a lot of questions here. How could this rogue judge just give him the subpoena to go get the man's phone records from a landline in his office and his personal cell phone? But AT&T said, well, wait a minute. But then on the thing it said, no, we can't notify him for a year, that the judge put that in the stipulation, because Ted Cruz is going to destroy evidence. What evidence do they think he made? What's the crime that he's being suspected of? Is it collusion with a foreign to give out information? What the hell is it? I want to know. What was the basis for the warrant? I'm not a law expert, but I do watch these shows, and usually they have to have a probable cause, a reason to get a warrant to go search somebody's house. They just can't go, oh, I think there's something in there, so we need to get a warrant. No, they got to have some probable cause. They have to have something. What is it? What is it that Ted Cruz did that they feel like he's going to destroy evidence? So what's it based on?
That's an order a judge signed. Now, I can tell you right now, there is precisely zero evidence to conclude that I am likely to destroy or tamper with evidence.
Damn.
Or to intimidate potential witnesses.
Damn. What witnesses?
Zero evidentiary basis for that. This order is an abuse of power. This order is a weaponized legal system. My assumption, we don't have the subpoenas that were issued for the other senators, but my assumption is Judge Boasberg printed these things out like the placemats at Denny's, one after the other.
Oh, crap.
We don't know that for a fact, but I feel confident that he concluded it's likely that Lindsey Graham would destroy evidence, and Marsha Blackburn would destroy evidence, and Eric Schmidt would destroy evidence, and Chuck Grassley would destroy evidence.
Well, he probably would have had to. He would have had to put that in every one of them. Because he, apparently I don't know if it's the same judge. I think he said that. I'm not sure. We need to keep listening. I mean, was it the same judge that did all of these blanket subpoenas to get these records from these senators? So every one of these senators you see on your screen now, all of them, they were suspected of espionage, collusion with enemies, suspected of giving secrets to the enemy. What the hell? What is it? What? Inquiry minds want to know. This is going to be action-packed. Hollywood loved to make a movie on Reagan and stuff like that. Are they going to make a movie about Biden wandering around not knowing where he's at? And then you have this side pocket of his inner circle. They're the ones that were running the country. I'm going out on a limb here. I think Biden, I don't even know how much Biden knew that all this was going on. Just saying. That's just my opinion. Holy crap.
If a litigant makes a claim for which there is no factual basis, that litigant is subject to sanctions in federal court.
There was no
basis. And if a judge signs an order.
Ah, crap. I'm so sorry. So sorry. This is crazy. What is the basis for the warrants? Inquiry minds want to know.
Reaching a factual conclusion for which there is zero evidence whatsoever. That judge is abusing his power. I am right now calling on the House of Representatives to impeach Judge Boasberg. Judge Boasberg put his robe down, stood up and said, sign me up to be part of the partisan vendetta against 20% of the Republicans in the Senate. That is a dereliction of duty and a violation of the judicial oath.
It's the same thing this woman lawyer in Chicago that's making Trump's head guy of the border that's controlling it. Trump sent him to Chicago. This judge is bringing him in and telling him she's basically telling him how to dress his officers, dress his soldiers. Like, well, don't they need a badge or something? Because people are complaining that they can't see identification on them. Right? Don't they need it? And he's like, well, Your Honor, they all have different equipment and stuff. It could be in a different place, or where they have it, it gets covered up. Because she don't know shit. And then she's telling him, oh, I want a month back of every arrest. Even non-illegals. She wants non-illegal arrests. She wants all this. She wants every bit of camera footage. I mean, you're talking probably thousands of hours between all the body cams, and she wanted it by Friday, by tomorrow. I'm not trying to micromanage you. Yes, you are. You're micromanaging him. It is the most stupidest thing. Go watch the Andrew Blanca show. He goes over the whole transcript when Blavio, I think that's his name. Forgive me if I got his name wrong. They had guy over the border. She brought him into court because he threw a smoke bomb. Oh, you messed up my, no, you didn't go by my TO. My TOR. You didn't go, you, because I got video from the people that were there who got gassed, and we got video. That's the only side of video she got. How can a judge make a judgment when she's not hearing both sides of the story? I saw video of guys hurling rocks at them, and apparently one of them hit him. Balavi, whatever his name is. I'm sorry. He throws a smoke bomb. These journalists that are in the crowd of the peaceful. Now, keep in mind, they are peaceful protesters. They're throwing boulders at these people. But the journalists that are embedded in the crowd, they got tear gas in their eye. She's telling him, you have to announce what you're going to do before you do it. It's absurd. How can anybody do that when you're in like battle and shit's getting hurled at you? What if somebody starts shooting at them? I'm just throwing this out here, guys. This is a tyrannical judge micromanaging. She's not even an American born. And forgive me for not knowing her name, but check out the Andrew Branco show. He goes over, he did it yesterday. I watched it last night. He goes over the whole the transcripts from when he was in, and she pretty much talked to him. He barely talked. I mean, he was very respectful or whatever. And she's giving him hypotheticals too. You gotta go read this. You're not gonna believe it. It's unbelievable. She's not even an American citizen. Her parents are from Jamaica. She was raised in Canada and then didn't come to America until she was 15. Why the hell? And she's a lifetime appointment judge. And she's not even an American-born citizen. What the hell is happening? Either they need to change the laws, amend the Constitution, that you either need to be second or third generation born American before you could sit on a bench for the rest of your life. 15? She's been in fucking Canada? Anyway, that's enough about that. But y'all do got to go look at those transcripts because, damn, I was like, what? This woman doesn't know shit about nothing. No boots on the ground and dealing with a unruly crowd. She's like, well, there's innocent bystanders standing on the side. We've all seen the images. They are not peaceful protesters, so just stop it.
And I want to thank Chairman Grassley and Chairman Johnson for pursuing this tenaciously like a dog on a bone. We are going to get the answers of every person who signed off on this abuse of power, and mark my words, there will be accountability for these zealots who wanted to corrupt the Department of Justice and corrupt the judiciary in order to try to attack their enemies list.
Zealots.
That is unconstitutional.
No shit.
It is immoral, and it is wrong.
Wow.
Senator Kennedy.
That was good. Damn.
I'm next.
Damn.
Well, I'm one of those senators that did have their records revealed. Verizon is my wireless carrier, and Verizon never challenged, never moved to quash. They complied with the subpoena that went forward on our records. Now, Ted talked about the speech and debate clause. This is also a violation of our First Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights. It is a violation of the separation of powers. It is a violation of the Stored Communications Act. I am looking forward to bringing Jack Smith before us. I am looking forward to bringing the wireless companies before us and finding out exactly what happened. No citizen of the United States should ever be subject to treatment like this. And as Senator Cornyn said, if they are doing this to us, what did they do to all the moms and dads that went to school board meetings? What did they do to the pro-lifers that stood on a sidewalk and held a sign? What did they do to people that were supporting President Donald Trump or people that were supporting Republican candidates? Jack Smith.
What the heck? Man, that's annoying. Yeah, what'd they do to people who wanted to go to church during COVID? Oh, no, you couldn't go to church, but they certainly, you saw all of them going out to dinner and having parties, didn't you? The liberals. The hypocrisy.
Moved forward after Christopher Wray wrote a memo on April 4th of 22. And you all should read the memo. It is how to write. It's going to be textbook for how to write a fishing expedition memo.
Gonna
Nebulous,
be a book.
vague language, alleging, assuming, things that should never be done. And then Lisa Monaco puts her mark on it, encouraging Merrick Garland to sign it so that they could put Jack Smith in as a special counsel. Thank goodness Kash Patel has fired every single person that was in that CR-15 unit, every single one of them. But we need to have hearings. We have encouraged the DOJ to refer Jack Smith to the Office of Professional Conduct, and they need to work with us to provide the documents so we can have a more fulsome picture about what has transpired with this. It is worse than Watergate. It is deep, it is wide, and we are just beginning to scratch the surface.
Wow.
Okay, and Schmidt.
Well, Lindsay, go ahead.
Lindsay.
No, go ahead.
We'll do it by
That's
height now.
crazy.
You're on the short end of that one.
Yeah. I'm closer to the earth. So here's what I'm thinking about. If Trump had not run in 2024, would any of this happened? So what I want to explain to the people of the country is that within several days of him announcing, I'm going to seek the White House again, an avalanche began to form. And I really do believe that none of this would have been happening if Trump had set out the 2024 cycle. Well, once he announced, I'll have my own chart one day, we'll show you what happened and when it happened. Within about 8 months of announcing, he had 91 felony charges against him in Georgia and New York and other places. So
All
here's
over
what
the
I
country.
think. That when he said he wanted to have a political comeback, it triggered the Democratic machine to destroy him before he could ever get started. And in their effort to destroy him, there were no boundaries. The goal was to stop Trump and to look at anything and everything that could stop Trump and ignore the Constitution and a lot of other things. I was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee in January 2021. I don't know about you, but I'm offended that somebody in 2023 would subpoena my phone records to find out where I was at when I called somebody and who I called and where they were at. It's not their damn business.
Oh, shit.
I have a constitutional duty, like the rest of us here, as chairman of the committee regarding the 2020 election. I don't think the 2020 election bothered anybody until Trump decided to run in 2024, legally. So what I want to do is pursue what happened system-wide. Was there contact between Jack Smith and Fani Willis? I got caught up in that crap. I'd spent over $1 million. Now, she's been kicked off the case. Was there a coordination between Jack Smith, Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James? Did they talk?
Snap.
Did they share information? Is it just an accident that all this happened within days of Trump announcing, and within 8 or 9 months, the Republican candidate, one of the candidates for president, had 91 felony charges?
What if Letitia James, they find out that they were all talking about it? This was all planned. The trumped up charges on Trump. Letitia James is already in trouble for the same shit she went after Donald Trump. Damn. That's insane. It's insane. If it comes out that she's part of this, boy, this is more problems and more problems for her. She's being indicted. They're going to court. But she thinks that the charges are going to get dropped. But I don't know. We all see the documentation because it was all public that she lied about her properties. This is crazy, y'all. The shit is going to get real. Seriously.
in the deepest blue districts in the friggin' country. You think that happened by accident? I don't think so. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I want to know, was there any coordination between Fani Willis and New York by Jack Smith?
It probably was.
We're going to get every piece of paper we can get, and I want Jack Smith to come forward, but I want the information first. He's not coming and testify when we're in the dark. To the Justice Department, please expedite the requests made by Senator Grassley and Johnson to give us any information that may exist between Jack Smith and Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, and Letitia James. I want to know, did they talk? If they talked, what did they talk about, and when did they talk? As to me, I want to know why Verizon did the opposite of AT&T. I want to know what they asked for.
So now I guess they need to get subpoenas for their phone records to investigate them for what they did to them. It's almost like reverse, just like Letitia James did this real estate shit to Trump, and boom, she did the same thing. Now she's in trouble for it. Well, how about this? These guys are going to go and subpoena their records because they got to get to the bottom of this. They already know. They already know. You saw Ted Cruz pull up that thing that a judge had signed to give permission to get his phone records. But AT&T said no. But then in stipulation it said, well, you can't tell him for another year because he might destroy evidence.
And how deep and how wide it went. Now, I want to know if there's an order signed by a federal judge basically slandering me, saying you can't tell Lindsey Graham because he'll do bad things. Now, if that happened, I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to give it a pass, nor is Ted or the rest of us. So we're going to get to the bottom of it for the benefit of the future. If this can happen to Trump, it can happen to anybody that the system doesn't like. And the system one day can come after you is what's being said here. So people literally need to pay a price for this. Some people may need to go to jail. Some people may need to be fired. But if they violated my constitutional rights, if they trampled on the separation of powers involving me, I'm going to sue the hell out of these people.
Oh, snap. He's going to sue the hell out of them.
What happens sometimes in this town is that we have multiple news cycles in one day. And big events can sort of get lost in all the things that are happening in the news of the day. But I think that in this instance, I can't think of a bigger political scandal in the last 100 years. So if you want to compare it to Watergate, this is 100 times worse than Watergate, and here's why. To sort of amplify the point that Senator Graham was making, 3 days after President Trump announced he was running for president, this system was weaponized against him. Jack Smith, who is notorious in prosecutor world as being a Stalin-like, show me the man, I'll show you the crime prosecutor. That's the guy you appoint when you want to get your political opponent. He's a dirtbag. A dirtbag. And I hope he comes before this committee. He's got a lot to answer to. He not only went after President Trump, he went after sitting senators. At the time, I was the chairman of the Republican Attorneys General Association. Ashley Moody was also on the executive board. He came after us. And also hundreds of other people who happen to be Republicans in the United States of America. What else happened? The #2 prosecutor in Atlanta, a state prosecution of President Trump, which was ridiculous to begin with, somehow meets with the White House. The #3 person at the Department of Justice leaves the #3 job at the Department of Justice to go work for Alvin Bragg, a state prosecutor. Why is that?
Fishy.
This was an effort to go after political opponents in America like we have never seen before. It can never happen again. And let me pull a couple people out outside of Jack Smith. Judge Boasberg. Judge Boasberg gave a speech about how he was going to thwart the Trump agenda before he got those cases.
Wow. Like, that's premeditated, I'm coming after you? That's premeditated. We're coming after you before you even get started.
See your scan.
He was not the assignment judge. The D.C. courts have a daily assignment judge. He wasn't the assignment judge. He's on vacation. Somehow gets these cases at 1 a.m. Was he tipped off? Did somebody tell him these cases against President Trump and his agenda now were coming? I don't know. We should find that out. But Judge Boasberg, what he did to Senator Cruz and maybe other senators, absolutely, and I don't say this lightly, absolutely is worthy of impeachment proceedings. There has to be accountability. The American people have heard a lot about this, and you're going to hear more. We should have Watergate-style hearings on this for months. If we're ever going to root this out, we have to be serious about it, and consequences have to follow. Resignations, firings, criminal prosecutions. You simply can't, in this country, use the justice system to throw people in jail because they have a red jersey on or a blue jersey on. It's completely unacceptable. But they never forgave President Trump for coming down the escalator in the first place. That's what this whole thing is about. And they can't actually believe they're in the position now that the American people sent him back. And if he didn't win, not just did he run, if he wouldn't have won, we would never know any of this stuff.
Oh, wow.
It's
true.
just the mere fact that he won, delivered a historic political comeback nobody alive today has ever seen. Is this an issue? So we have to actually do something about it, or it will happen again. I want to thank Chairman Grassley for his leadership. Only because of the respect that he has with whistleblowers and his dogged determination and that of Senator Johnson are we even here today. And there's a lot more to come. This is just what we know right now. There's a lot more that's going to come.
Well, we appreciate you hanging with us and paying attention as we went through all of this today. If you don't know me, I'm Ashley Moody. I am the most junior member of the Judiciary Committee. But I showed up in January. I've been here 9 months, and I cannot tell you how shocked I have been at what transpired under the last administration. I now show up with a background as not only a lawyer, a federal prosecutor, a judge for over a decade, and the Attorney General of Florida to make sure that this country gets back on course. Because let me tell you about countries like Venezuela, whose own government went after their enemies, and that didn't just include those who were rightfully and duly elected by the people. They went after news organizations and journalists. They went after allies and people
That's what Biden did.
Who supported freedom and democracy.
That's exactly what they did.
And most of the people from that country who fled reside now in the state of Florida. Meeting with former Supreme Court justices from Venezuela, I heard time and time again, this story that we're telling you today. You heard Senator Cruz tell you that a judge said that he may destroy evidence. This is one of the preeminent lawyers in our country.
It's mind-boggling.
Who argued in front of the Supreme Court.
It's crazy.
Who has dedicated his life to service. Who fights for the future of this country. And you had an administration go after him. If you are issuing subpoenas, you're saying they're related to a criminal investigation. And you had a judge say that he could destroy evidence. Think about that.
That's crazy.
They were trying to wipe out the leaders of a cause for a next generation. From elected leaders to news media, multiple outlets, journalists, even donors. If you're watching this right now, oh yes, there were even subpoenas issued on donors. Your information. If you believed in a cause and thought so highly of it, those things that we stood for, and you put your money where your mouth was, your information was sought.
Damn.
So when you hear them say, imagine that they're doing this to us, they could do this to you, they did do it to you. And we only know this because the president was elected again.
Wow.
And I can tell you right now,
Thank God.
You've heard them say we need to do our jobs. Impeachment needs to be on the table. Impeachment wasn't just a theory or an idea or some hypothetical one day. If there was ever an instance to root out judges that were not following the law or not being independent or were not living up to their oath, this is it. Impeachment cannot be a scarecrow.
Get them out.
We must use that tool to make sure the public can trust in our judiciary again, can trust in our justice system again.
Oh, the judge I was telling you about that's in Chicago, that woman judge, she was appointed by Obama. Now, I don't know who appointed this judge she's talking about. It's either Biden or Obama appointed him.
Because if you ask the Supreme Court justices that fled to the United States from Venezuela, they would tell you when their justice system went, when the people no longer trusted that it was independent, they lost their nation. And I, for one, as the rookie of judiciary and the rookie of the United States Senate, are here to fight for this country. It will not fall under our watch.
I think that's what the Biden administration, the left, that's what they want. They want us to just fail. It's crazy, I know.
And you have our word.
Here, here. Direct your questions to whichever senator you want to ask them to. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. To anyone. I'm Allison Steiger with Lindell TV, and Mike Lindell himself is actually mentioned in the judiciary document release involving Arctic frost. When can Lindell and really all other Americans know what to extent and by what means they were targeted and or surveilled in all of this? And will there be a full list released of every American that was involved?
Well, I think my colleagues could speak to this as well, but I think that we're going to just prove what the government has tried to do. We get more documents to do it, and we don't know everybody that's probably been involved yet, but we've got evidence that too many people, and this process should have never.
The old way of preparing for disasters is.
Let's see. Let's do. What is it doing? Oh, man, what is it doing to me? What's it doing to me?
deepest.
I thought Ted Cruz did a really good job. I thought he did really good on that. Wow, y'all, this is crazy. This shit deep. I mean, this is some like crazy on so many levels. The corruption is insane, and it goes right to the top. It goes right to the top. They must have been afraid of Trump. If they were doing so damn good, Biden and Harris, so damn good, because Biden didn't get a second term. A lot of presidents get a second term. Like, you're doing all right, we'll elect you again. I have no idea why the hell Obama won again. I think the shit was rigged. I don't know. I'm just like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? But anyway, if they were doing so damn well, which we know they won't, it was a disaster. Everything's a disaster. The country's in a disaster. The border's a muck. Everything woke's on steroids. It's all going crazy. So they knew. Oh, Trump could probably come in here and beat us. So we need to destroy them. We need to weaponize and go after anybody who can oppose us. So maybe that's what their strategy was. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So we hadn't got to the debates yet. They hadn't kicked Biden to the curb and then just not even with a primary put in Harris. But they were like, okay, so if we go after everybody, maybe this will come out. I don't know. I'm just throwing this tidbit in there. Go after anybody who they think is going to run and win the primary for the Republicans. We have to go after them. So they end up getting some nobody that we know Biden's going to have more experience and Biden's going to win. I don't know. I don't know what this kind of crazy thinking is, because America had enough with their bullshit. They bit off more than they could chew. But this was fabulous. I just thought this was really good. There's going to be more to come. There was a press conference they did, I think 2 weeks ago. I don't think I covered it, but I did watch it, and they had brought all this to light. But this is even a little tidbit more information, where they went and AT&T told them, yeah, we said no, but then now, man, we had this paper that says no, we couldn't give you the information for a year, Ted Cruz said. Now, the rest of them, a lot of them, the phone companies gave the records. Gave their private conversations and text messages. And if they made videos. They probably had everything. I don't know. I don't know how much you could get. I'm not a forensic phone expert, or if they could get video or whatever. Good God, I have no idea. But guys, this is action-packed, and it's not going away. This shit's going to get deep, and it's going to get exciting. Like, whoa, shit, all these people are going to get indicted? Maybe this judge is going to get impeached? This is crazy! And there you go. There you go.